So here we have a question about how come that the child with impaired motor activity has damaged connective tissue. So now we are talking about impaired motor activity. So it's the question. The question is not specifically about neurological problem. So it's impaired motor activity. So, and indeed, every child that have impaired motor activity, so problem with function, will have some sort of problem with the connective tissue. And now the question is why? Well, simply because if the child doesn't have a proper function, it will not have a proper interaction with the environment. If the child do not have a proper interaction with the environment, then the child body in time is not developing as a healthy child. So in time, the weaknesses of the connective tissue are getting more and more evident. Now, on the other hand, I talk now about external interaction. So basically how the child is reacting with the floor, for example, with the chair. When the child is laying, how the body is reacting according to this kind of interaction between the body and our environment. So if somebody have a problem with function, that will definitely change the way how we interact with our environment. So for example, if somebody is walking with the crossed legs, when he step on the floor, the bone and joints will not react in the same way as, for example, a healthy child. So in time, you start to see more and more differences between a healthy structure and the child with impaired function structure. But this is not the only reason why the connective tissue is weak. Another reason is how the connective tissue is reacting within the body during the movement. So you see, for example, if I move my hand in different direction as now, for example, I'm getting the interaction between the segments in my body. So what happened? There is a mixture of compression, tension, shearing movement, and so on. So I will try to simplify it. So you see, my joints have a stability, so it's connecting two segments, but at the same time it's disconnecting. So thanks to that I can have a movement. But you see, if I'm making a movement like this, still my joint have integrity. So it can move, but it will maintain the integrity. This means the movement will be centralized, the joints will not be during the movement it will not slide in some directions which are not so good and which will cause some locking and blocking of the movement. And if the joint do not have a proper integrity, then the ordinary movement can create excessive micro movement in the joint. So instead of many micro movements, you will get one big movement which could cause a collapse. So when the collapse happens in the structure during the movement, it can block the movement, it can create muscle tension as a reaction, and so on. So when the body structure, when the body tissue as a connective tissue is not responding properly during the movement, it will actually in time develop in different way in comparison to the healthy child. This is because the development of the connective tissue is dependent on the mechanical stimulations. And these mechanical stimulations are coming from outside as well as from within our body. And if for any reason the child have a problem with the function, it will change actually the way how our body is reacting to these kind of sources of mechanical stimulation, and effect will be a different way of development in respect to the healthy child. So BDA therapy try to localize and understand the way how the child body is reacting during this kind of different, sources of interaction. And we try to improve the reaction of the connective tissue during these activities. As a result, we are starting to see the changes at the level of the structure, which means the tissue is responding in different way during these activities. We see improvement of the activity, which is connected with energy efficiency. The child is doing something in more easier way, and in time we are starting to see the improvement in the structure and the function.